Hello.
Very much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll start with the presentation very quickly. I hope the screen is also visible. So today I'll be talking to you about AI and governance. Specifically, what we'll be discussing in this particular presentation and the use case later on is what governance is. Why do we need governance? Essentially, the concept of governance, risk and compliance, or GRC, and how AI fits into this particular area. So I'll just brush up through these concepts because we are all chartered accountants and we know about all this. So when we talk about governance, there are three keywords which come into our mind. First is rules, practices, and processes. So what this does is essentially it makes the organization compliant, transparent, and accountable. It makes the management accountable towards whatever they are doing towards the shareholders, stakeholders, public at large, governance, and other users. Now, when we talk about why compliance is necessary, as we discussed that it enhances the transparency, accountability, and trust, it also mitigates the risk. It can be risk of non-compliance of a particular law, like SEBI or LODR disclosures. Fraud risk is always there. Then there's a risk of financial irregularity. So essentially, once a governance structure or a governance framework is complied with, it reduces or mitigates all these kinds of risk. Now, we as chartered accountants have to audit this governance framework of the organizations. And we can see that the governance framework is quite wide. It has basic structures like the board of directors composition or the number of committees a particular company has. It has organizational hierarchies, its own rules, policies, code of conduct, and legal and regulatory framework. Nowadays, we can also see that apart from the COBIT, COSO, ISO frameworks, there's also ESG framework and other sustainable reporting frameworks which are there. So basically what I'm going to do is with regards to my use case, I'm going to use ChatGPT Plus and I'm going to discuss how we can audit a particular governance framework. Now, for the paucity of time, I have used annual report of TCS, which is publicly available. But basically, you can use any kind of document or any kind of report which you have either prepared or received from the management as a written representation during understanding the entity and its environment so that you can analyze on that data. So here I have uploaded the entire annual report of 300, 400 pages, but I'm going to use only the specific pages of the management related portion. The first query which I have written here is that I want to identify the governance framework which is being used by the company. I'm looking specifically for corporate governance framework, be it COSO, COBIT, or ESG frameworks. So as soon as I hit enter, it's going to search through the report. I hope you can see this little blue apostrophes. It essentially shows you the source from which it has taken this data. So you can be sure that your report is the only source of data. So it's going to search the report and it's just going to give me the entire framework. It starts with the corporate governance framework, basically your SEBI regulations, Companies Act, and Tata has its own code of conduct. So it has mentioned that as well, and other corporate governance frameworks like Tata Business Excellence Model, TCS Code of Conduct for prevention of insider trading, and so on. With regards to the COSO, COVID, or ESG framework, it shows that the company follows COSO framework as well as the ESG framework, and it given us the details with regards to them. Now, if I'm an auditor of this company, and just to before we move ahead with the audit, in fact, I'll just add up to this that sometimes when AI can be hallucinating or maybe delusional, you just want to confirm something because AI is in a very starting stage of its era, and you definitely need some sort of a review mechanism to make sure that the data generated is correct. So here I just asked it again that whether COSO or COBIT is there, and also what is the information with regards to the ISO standards. So it reiterates itself that the COSO framework is being followed. There is some information about the ISO standards also, and there is no information with regards to COBIT framework in that particular document. So, as I said earlier, that if we are the auditor of this particular company and I want to audit this particular governance framework, I'm going to just simply ask the chat GPT that what things should I keep in mind? Basically, prepare me a checklist relevant and particular only to this company, not a general checklist based on the documents. So it's going to prepare me this checklist, which is basically showing regulatory compliances, board structure and functioning, all the things which I need to do while checking these particular parameters. Now, as you can see that this particular checklist is a bit smaller or not very much detailed in the manner. So I just asked it again that I need a detailed checklist for each of these parameters here. Here it gives me the detailed checklist with 4 or 5 points over here. And definitely, since this is an AI and it's completely into your hand and autonomous, you can do anything. I can simply just pick this first point and ask it to elaborate it further, ask it to give me 5 other points, additional checklist points related to that point. But due to the paucity of the time, I'm just going to stick to this particular area itself. So instead of discussing the entire 8 to 10 checkpoints, I'll just take one of them, let's say information security and data privacy. It's given me checklist that I need to ensure compliance with the ISO or IEC 27001 standards for information security. I need to confirm and verify that the company has data privacy policy in place. With regards to internal control, somewhere up there, there was a discussion about internal control as well. Yeah, here. So it's just asking me to test the IT controls, asking me to test whether the internal controls of financial reporting and so on and so forth are in place or not. So it gives me a comprehensive checklist for my auditing. Now, coming back to the information security and data privacy, let's say I performed my audit and I found certain things which may not modify my opinion, but might be important for the users to know. And I communicated it with the management and those charged with governance, and I want that to be a part of my audit report. Now, since this is a listed company, key audit matter also applies in this case. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to ask a prompt that I want to add information security and data privacy related information in my key audit matter. Now, as you can see, I have put here a detailed prompt here. Basically, there are two options which you can do here. One thing which I could have done is I could have just simply asked GPT to put this point number 8 in the key audit matters para format. What it would have done is it would have taken these 5 or 6 parameters. It would have created that these were the things which we have performed as an audit procedures, and this is our result. But instead what I did was, let's say I did some custom audit procedures and I want the key audit matters according to that procedure. So I've basically written it here that we've tested the IT controls, we have checked the regulatory compliances, and we have analyzed the implications of exception reports as to what impact it can have on the business. And we found that no exception, basically nothing significant is found with regards to the exception report. So here it goes ahead and drafts me the key audit matter paragraph as per SS 701. Now, mind you that if your office or a firm has a particular format, let's say it's a format of a tabular nature, or if it's similar to this paragraph format, you can definitely attach that particular document. It can be anything. It can be a photo, an Excel file, a PDF, a Word document. It can be anything which can be uploaded on this. And once you upload it,
Attention, last 2 minutes left.
thank you, ma'am. So basically, once you upload it, you can simply ask GPT to make this particular report in that format. So here it gives me the key audit matters draft, which says that since TCS is a basic IT consultancy service, it is complex in that particular area in the nature of the business, and the company adheres to ISO IEC 27001 standards and its compliance. How did we address this particular matter in the audit? We tested the IT controls with regards to the effectiveness and the design. We evaluated the access controls, data encryption protocols, and so on and so forth. We checked regulatory compliances with various sort of acts, data protection laws, which might be applicable to the company. And while analyzing the exception reports, we found nothing which might be significant to the business or the operations of the company. So it gives us the result, procedure, and the conclusion. Now, as you can see that this was just a general draft, and I have just basically used bare minimum information for my prompt. Since GPT is very much custom and you have to be very much clear about what you want from it, you can go as detailed as you want, and you can go ahead and build up a chat as per your requirements. So basically, this was my use case and presentation on how GPT can help you in assisting and basically easing your work while allowing you to perform a comprehensive audit as well as a quality audit. So thank you.
Thank you, Rishir. Now over to our juries.
Thank you, Amish bhai. This is a nice presentation, and I think using the annual report of TCS, you showed us a lot of things which can be done. I'm sure for the benefit of most practitioners who are small practitioners, that this would work equally well with small companies and audit of not so big companies. You can get the information from their list of accounts or whatever it is, So any comment on that, or any thing you would like to tell us?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, that I uploaded the TCS report. Basically, it had all sorts of controls and procedures. But let's say if it's a small private company which has just been incorporated, or even a one-person company, or any sort of business, which may or may not have frameworks like COBIT, COSO, or ISO frameworks or something like that. What you can do is simply during the course of the audit, if you're identifying that, okay, this is the internal control process of the company, you can document it in your own language and upload that document. You can change the name of the company if, with regards to privacy and security matters. You can upload that document and you can perform your procedures accordingly from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rishi. Actually, in fact, it's a basic interface which if member can using as a ChatGPT 4, so they will keep on learning how we can just interact with the ChatGPT and get the best results.
Right.
The point here is how best you can ask the question in a systematic way. That is the learning which a member has to learn right now. I think so.
Right.
Your suggestion for this aspect, actually, what any message you want to give to the members that the aspect to be taken care while drafting the questions or query, because no one has submitted that. Just a few things.
Sure. So, as you saw that there's nothing very much technical with regards to it. It's just an interface, an additional part of yourself, your daily workflow. What basic thing which I started when I was learning through this chat GPT and asking it prompts and so on and so forth, what I basically did was the first question which you need to ask is, first of all, define yourself that you're a chartered accountant in India. So it's going to focus on laws, regulations, things like that in India. Secondly, with regards to the prompt, if I say that I want to conduct an audit over the internal controls of a company, I'm going to ask the GPT that what sort of question should I ask you if I want this process to happen. So instead of guessing what should we write the prompt, what should we do, just break it down. The conversation can be endless. You can just break it down and ask itself that what sort of questions will it accept and give us the result.
As a client, you're asking him the query and just getting the inputs.
Yeah. So basically, you can just simply do that. I want to audit the governance framework of this particular company, but I don't know what to do. I want a checklist from you, but just tell me the right set of questions which I might ask you, so that you can generate me the checklist as per institute's standards on auditing and such other regulatory requirements.
Thank you. Very well, actually covered the whole presentation. Appreciate.
Thank you, sir.
Great.